With so many headlines about the real estate market going around, it can start to feel really overwhelming to try and make sense of it all. Admittedly, the 2023 real estate market has been a bit inconsistent, a bit unpredictable. You know what? It's just been weird. It's been really, really weird. If hearing the phrases mortgage rates, housing crash, or equity makes your head spin, you're not alone. In today's video, I will be clarifying the top 3 most commonly misunderstood ideas about the current real estate market to set you on the path to feeling much more comfortable talking about these at your next backyard barbecue. The first and most prevalent misunderstood idea I see in the headlines about the real estate market is that there's a housing crash coming on the horizon. It's 2008 all over again. Run for the hills, the sky is falling. First of all, a housing market crash happens when there's a ton of houses sitting on the market that nobody wants to buy that causes prices to come plummeting down. This is the exact opposite of the market that we have right now. Right now, we have a backlog of buyer demand, even if some are sitting on the sidelines waiting interest rates out, and a huge deficit of supply to meet that demand. We realtors have an indicator to measure this, and it's called the average months of supply. The average months of supply tells us, assuming buyer demand and everything else is equal, how long it would take to sell all of the current inventory that's listed on the market right now. Now, experts differ on the ideal number for this, but generally speaking, 3 to 5 months of supply equals a balanced market. During the last housing market crash, we had an annual average of over 10 months of supply in the market. That's an incredible excess of supply. Whereas the last few years, nationally, that number has hovered around the 2 to 3 month range. And in Frederick County, that figure has hovered at or below 1 month of supply since mid-2020. Side note, can we talk really quickly about why we have such low supply of houses on the market right now? I'm going to give you 2 quick reasons. Reason number 1 is simply that builders have not built enough homes. We are just coming out of a 14-year period of below average new builds being added to the supply pot of homes. Reason number 2, sellers are just staying in their homes for longer, partially due to the lock-in effect of the low interest rates, and also because older generations are just staying in their homes for longer than they used to. It used to be that homeowners would stay in their homes for an average of about 6 years, and recently that's increased to over 9 years. Okay, so back to why we're not going to see a market crash anytime soon. Another reason is that compared to 2008, buyers are much more qualified. Lending standards were tightened, and that means that homeowners are much more likely to continue to be able to afford to stay in their homes. In fact, foreclosures, another predictor of a housing crash, are at a significantly lower level now than they were in the 2008 period. Check this out. At the peak of the housing crisis in 2010, there were over 1.5 million foreclosure filings. Obviously, this number has plummeted since then, and even though there was a minor uptick since 2020, we're nowhere near the numbers of the 2008 period. So as you can see, a housing crash is not only not imminent, we are actually headed in the opposite direction. As long as we continue to see a housing supply deficit, we are also going to continue to see price appreciation, in spite of what rates are doing, for a while to come. The second misunderstanding I see a lot is that houses are expensive because interest rates are high. So let's take a moment to get clear on the relationship between interest rates and prices and what's really causing housing to be expensive today. Okay, are you ready? We're going back to Econ 101. First of all, it's important to understand that interest rates and prices have an inverse relationship. That means if one goes up, the other goes down, and likewise. This is the basis of how the Fed is currently trying to manage our economy. Because we have high inflation right now, they're raising interest rates in the hopes that that will curb consumer spending and therefore reduce prices. Let's think about this now in terms of housing prices and mortgage rates. The idea is that the more it costs to take out a home loan, the fewer people will do so, and this lower demand will in turn decrease prices. Here's the kicker. It's actually working right now. That's right. Housing prices are lower right now than they would otherwise be if rates were to come down. Remember that we have a supply shortage in the market right now. And so these two forces, the upward pressure on prices from low supply and the downward pressure of prices of lower demand due to the rates, are kind of battling it out right now. And unfortunately, the supply side is is winning. Prices are high because of our low inventory problem. So the argument that housing prices are high right now because of high interest rates is wrong. Remember, that's the supply side's fault. Now, if you are a borrower right now, higher interest rates are going to make your monthly payments higher, and that can impact your affordability, which can make everything feel like it's a little bit more expensive. But just remember that we're not talking causality here, right? Housing prices are not higher because of the interest rates. And that leads us to our final misunderstanding that we're going to talk about today, and that is the idea that it is better to wait to buy until interest rates come back down. Listen, I get it. I know everything feels really super expensive right now. It is really expensive right now. And in those kind of situations, sometimes it feels better to just wait and see and hope that the situation improves. And everyone's situation is different. And if waiting is just the ultimate better decision for you financially, then I'm not putting any blame or fault on you. But I do want to say that remember, we know that housing prices are going to continue to appreciate as long as we have this supply issue. We've also seen what happens when rates do come down. If you remember, there was a moment in early 2023 when rates came down just a little bit, about a half a percentage point, and buyer demand shot up quicker than you can say Barbara Corcoran. If you're thinking of buying and you can, I would not wait. Take advantage of the market favorability that's being momentarily caused by these higher rates. And if you're a homeowner, you've also got it made. With the right pricing, staging, and marketing strategy, houses are still selling quickly and for a high amount. Plus, you've got so much equity that you've likely accumulated in your home, you can use that to offset any high interest rates. That is, if you even need to finance your next purchase. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, if you have any questions related to Maryland real estate or just want to chat, I'm here. Bye.